we know that a fundamental teaching in Judaism by the Baal Shem Tov, in Hasidic law, is that there is no accidents in this world. Everything is by divine providence, called Hashgacha Pratit. Minute, detailed attention and plan by God. As Rambam calls it, En Mikra Nikra. There are no accidents. Everything is by divine plan. So if this is true about the movement of a little insect, a grass, a wind, obviously there is no accident in the fact that we find a topic of the parasha of this week connected to the Rambam, Maimonides, that we are learning. What I mean by the Rambam that we are learning, because actually we're going to have the conclusion of the 39th cycle where the Rebbe has established the studying of every day 3 chapters or 1 chapter. But according to the cycle of 3 chapters, on the Shivasa B'Tammuz, that God willing is going to be a feast, not a fast, we will be concluding that cycle. And now we are learning in Hilchot Melachim, we're learning about the obligation, the responsibility that we as Jews have to teach the Gentile world, the entire humanity, the 7 Noahic laws. And the connection with the parsha of this week is because in this week we have where the Torah says, Lo ele techalik haaretz. These are the ones to whom you're going to divide the land of Israel. Where we're coming in contact with the Gentile world. Till now we're in the desert, secluded, living in a bubble. Now we're coming into the world. And now we're getting responsibilities of interacting with the world. Prior to this, we didn't interact, we were just slaves. So now it's becoming a nation, a community, a people, and we will interact. So we have a responsibility to teach entire humanity the 7 Noahic laws. And as Rambam says it, and I'll read to you the words, just as Moshe Rabbeinu taught us the 630 mitzvot, so too Moshe Rabbeinu is commanded by God to teach, to encourage to all of the humanity lekabel mitzvah shenitztava b'nei Noach, to accept upon themselves the mitzvahs, the commandments that Noach was commanded. And this you should do by persuading them. Gentle persuasion, but actually persuading them. And the interesting, I just want to mention this, that Rambam says that kol ha-mekabel sheva mitzvahs, anyone, any Gentile does, who accepts upon himself the fulfillment of these 7 mitzvot and is precise in their observance, is considered of mechasidei u'moisei olam, is considered among the pious, among the Gentiles, who will have chelek l'olam haba, who will have merit to have a share in the world to come. Now, which are those 7 Noahic laws? Quickly, there are, the first of all, prohibition against worshipping of false gods, idols, the prohibition against cursing God, prohibition of murder, no incest and adultery, no theft, and establishing a system of court, a proper justice system, and then Eva Minachai, not to cut off the flesh of a living animal and eat it like this. So those are the 7 Noahic laws. Then, as I said, we as Jews have to bring this message to the Gentiles. And interesting, a number of years ago, the Rebbe started that campaign. And the Rebbe said, so how come we never heard about it prior to now? Why don't we find previous generations, sages of previous generations, and encouraging this to happen, if this is what the Rambam says? And the Rebbe said, for a very simple reason. We just couldn't. Jews were not at liberty. Jews were not living in an environment where they could come tell the Gentile how to behave. Today, it's possible. Today, it's a reality. The influence of Jews on the world at large, in all fields, morality and in business and in science and in politics and business, anything. Jews have a tremendous, tremendous influence. So too, we have to use this. What we call today Israel the startup country should not be just startup in gadgets and tremendous accomplishments on all fields, but it also has to be the oil lagoyim, the light of the nation, to teach them the 7 Noahic laws. And what's very fascinating, I heard this once from a artist, a famous Quebec artist, Mr. Menzies, who, by the way, himself was a convert. And he told me the following, that if you're going to take a white surface, and he explained it to me, if you take a round white surface, and you're going to draw a line of the 7 basic colors, and you're going to circle it very, very quickly. In other words, that these 7 lines will become intertwined with each other. The color that's going to come out is white. And that's the rainbow, the famous 7 colors of the rainbow that God showed humanity. Keep the rainbow and there won't be no flood. So we have the responsibility to share this with humanity. By us doing our commandments, we have 613 plus tax, as I like to say. And we have humanity will follow the 7 awake laws with GST and PST, which means GST means go study Torah, PST, please start today. We'll have today the redemption with Mashiach.